Welcome to the MitsuTimes.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? My name's Josh. Welcome to a special episode of the MitsuTimes Podcast. It's our first video podcast. My guest is Shaun Werning.
Hey, guys.
Eric.
Engler. I was waiting.
See? It's not how my country brain wants to pronounce it, so that's what we'll go with.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about the glorious, we would say, the most underrated engine.
It's Mitsubishi's race motor.
Yeah.
Big block Mitsu.
I was going to say, Shaun always calls it the Mitsubishi Big Block. We're here to talk about the 6G75. If you're watching this or listening, you're probably like, what the hell is a 6G75? Look into it, because you're missing out for real. But let's dive right into it. Let's talk about...
On headaches.
Yeah. Aftermarket support, we're getting there.
It's right here.
Yeah.
And about 2 guys in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Some guys in Florida who won't share their secrets, and
They'll take your money, though.
we're here to share the secrets. And it may frustrate some people who've been gatekeeping for a while, I think. But we want everybody to go fast, right? I mean, the 6G75 is underrated. We can, you can go out and buy a block for $300, maybe a whole engine for $400. I mean, it's really, if you're getting sick of 4G parts and brake and drivetrain and stuff, I mean, this is the future. We got to get there first. So let's talk about what it is that makes the 6G75 so cool.
Big motor, man. They're 3.8 liters, right? It's a V6. What I like, what's really cool, because a lot of guys are going to swap these, is it's the same bell housing pattern as the Stealth and the 3000 GT. So transmission options are there. Drivetrain options are there.
And we have the glorious W4 series trans that we all know and love.
Those are easy to get front wheel drive, which is what Shaun's running.
Yeah.
We should actually probably do... So Shaun has a front wheel drive swapped one of these with the turbo, stock bottom end, just some springs basically, right? And some studs.
Not even
springs.
Springs.
And
Springs.
I think you and I have the same.
The comp springs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
And then Josh is working on
the same thing minus the turbo.
Yeah, a non-turbo version.
I'm trying to copy the Puerto Ricans, really.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I'm doing a more race-oriented, getting an adapter made for a power glide, and will be lots of
big power,
In a 3000 GT, though.
In a 3000.
And I'm in a first-gen laser, 1GA laser.
And I'm in a Mirage.
Fifth-gen Mirage. Fifth-gen Mirage. Mirage.
So some of the stuff has some carryover between the three of us. So we have a little chat group going, so we figured we may as well bring this chat group live.
And we're all auto now. So that'll be I think...
You guys cheat. You have 4 gears? I mean, you should go way faster.
4? Who's using 4?
Well, you have 4.
I have an option.
I can use 3.
Yeah.
If you touch the 4th one, it goes by.
So you can get the basics. The MyVec version is out of the Eclipses, right?
Eclipse and the Galant Rally Art. I think 9th generation.
Yeah.
I don't know, 8th or 9th, the big ones.
Yeah.
The big ones.
I don't think any of the Monteros had a MyVec.
So MyVec you get in the Eclipses and Galants or whatever, and then the non-MyVec, which is what I'm using as a core because I'm cheap, you get them out of Josh's Endeavor.
Endeavor.
Also Galants.
Big Monteros too, right?
They had a 67. Well, yeah, they did have a 5.
I think they had a 7.5.
Yeah, they did have a 5.
In the late years or whatever?
Yeah.
And the difference, obviously, other than the control on the valves, is about 80 horsepower. The non-MyVecs are like 220 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe not that much, but then the MyVecs are upwards of 300, like 295, 300. Right? Am I getting those numbers right?
And
somewhere around there.
We've talked about the reason for that added horsepower is a lot to do with, I mean, a lot of people think it's the MyVecs. Yeah, the cams are for sure.
It's for sure the cams.
Also, the intake openings we talk about are pretty significant.
Yep.
I'll try to cop in a little side-by-side picture if we can make one
That'd
happen.
be cool. Yeah. And feel free to rob stuff out of my YouTube vid.
But I think we're starting the uptrend of people discovering the 6G75 and thinking about using it for their build.
So the 3000 GT guys have used the. Some have done the full swap, which is a bit of a pain because the engine is turned the opposite.
Right.
But it's, you know, if you have a cutoff wheel and a welder, you can make it work. The worst part is the oil filter housing ends up on the wrong side, and you were fine with it in your axle arrangement, but on the 3000s, I haven't tried it personally, but supposedly the axle will hit it. But you can do a remote oil filter, move it out of the way, and then so the other way the 3000 GT guys have done it is they take in Mivec heads and put them on 6G74 blocks, because you could get a JDM block from something, I can't remember what it is, but it has all of the right bolt-on and everything, the heads and everything, and just direct swap. But then,
oh wow!
So they would just take Mivec heads, put it on that 74 block that bolts right into a 3000, and the most that I've known, one guy made like 1340, 1350 to the wheels.
Oh yeah,
was that the red 3000? What was his name? Not Carlo. Italo.
Yeah. There was one 6G75, I think in an Evo, right? The red Evo in Australia, that was 13.
He did not. No, one of them was claiming like 1900.
Yeah, they're claiming crazy,
oh, yeah.
And it doesn't look.
Let's see the trap speed, buddy.
Yeah. But there's a few Evos that have 6G75s in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should kind of backtrack a little and talk about why the parts that are available is because in Australia this is very popular. I mean, the 6G75
in the Gallant or whatever version they have over there, is that what it is?
One of the Diamante families.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what they call it for sure, but you know, they're years ahead of us on making the parts and doing some of the engineering. They just haven't been as serious about it as we're all trying to be.
The guys that I know of, the Tire City guys, their names are eluding me, but the one
Rob.
guy, it's a Mirage. Yeah, Rob's one of them. I can't think of the other guy, but it's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive, similar to Eric's MR2 Mirage, and then the other guy is like a front-wheel drive.
Fourth gen Mirage.
Yeah. So, yeah, like they're both Mirages, but one's mid-engine, both auto, naturally aspirated, and they run in the 10s. They've got some kind of naturally aspirated class.
And the mid-engine one does wheelies like
he does wheelies.
Yeah.
What's the record on NA now? Like, is 8.0?
Well, NA or all motor?
All motor.
Yeah.
All motor with
low 8s, 8.2, something like that.
A lot of nitromethane.
I was gonna say we're talking nitromethane.
Yeah,
that's all motor.
Well, we're in the 8s on nitromethane.
That's awesome.
Oh, the LMVP is like 8.2,
yeah.
Like 180 mile an hour, 178 mile an hour.
And those guys are, I mean, you know,
8.2, no turbo.
No turbo.
And we're talking.
They're screaming them.
Yeah.
That's bad.
They know some stuff.
We're talking 16-to-1 compression pistons. I mean, that's some crazy stuff. That's some tight tolerances right there. But that's a lot of the reason why I think these are very exciting.
Yeah.
And I feel like I buy up every one that I see for sale because I think there's going to be a push at some point where people are going to be like, I want to get into this.
Yeah, with my car, we'll see, because my goal is to class race in things like X Street at FL2K, and then potentially the Limited Street is a new class at World Cup. So it's a 73.9 millimeter turbo limited class, and I mean the Hondas are making 1,500. Now I'll have the advantage of a better 60-foot, but also that's 600-700 pounds more weight added on. So long story short, I'll still need to make 1,500 for sure. Billet cranks do exist. Bryant Racing makes one. It's a 30-week lead time. So with most places, you double it. So if it's, I spoke to him last week, and it's 30 weeks. So I mean, it's probably a year at least. So because they're like Legos, so my plan is to use a 6G74 crank, which I think you're planning on doing too, to de-stroke it down to like a 3.6 liter. You're doing it for class purposes to get below 3.7, 3.8. I'm doing it because you have, in theory, the strongest 6G
Combination,
crank. Yeah, because you have less or more overlap with the less stroke.
My inspiration for the route I'm going is because at World Cup, the all-motor class tops out at 3.7.
3.7.
So with the 67.4 crank, you would be a 3.68 liter, I think is the math that we did.
Yeah.
So
X front wheel drive's like that too. X front wheel drive wants you to be 3.7 or less.
3.7.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think they knew the 67.5 was coming. And 3.7 has to be the limit because
the Honda's J Series is a 3.5, which you don't really see those racing in these classes. I don't know why.
No.
It's an aluminum block with VTEC. I don't understand. Like, it's a lighter.
Every time I see them, I mean, maybe you guys, I think you guys go to probably more events than I do, but every time I see them, I feel like they're turbo in a S2000 or up front on a EG Civic or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think your car is ridiculous, big block sticking out of the hood. But I think when people start, seeing how cost-effective these are, I mean, you are stock rods, stock pistons, and
stock cams.
How fast have you gone so far?
9.5.
9.5 at
143. Right.
How much?
18 pounds of boost.
How much horsepower do you calculate that to?
Low 500. The car is very lightweight.
Yeah.
But that's also high 1.4 60 foot.
Yeah.
Out of a front wheel drive. So that's
So totally stock motor with some valve springs. 500 horsepower.
Yeah, and head studs, the ARP head studs,
Right.
which you have since told me are junk on the 6G7.
Could be possibly worse than the
the factory
The
built.
stock ARPs are not great.
But there is options out there. Like we all talk about their revenge head bolts.
Yep. I just ordered those.
Yeah, those will be the future for 67.5 guys for sure.
We're gonna do those. I mean, it is. The material is kind of unknown, but the design of it is better than the ARP. The ARP kind of necks down in the shank, and so this is all the way through, and a bigger washer and bolt on top. So that's all good.
Doesn't he say on his website that they're a tool steel? Or no? No? Okay.
It says 220,000 PSI tensile strength, which is what regular ARP tensile strength is. But the design is better, so I'm going to try those. If it doesn't work, then for some reason, and we think it's head studs and not a tuning problem, or a myriad of other reasons why you can have head gasket issues, then looks to be enough meat to drill and tap for like a 9/16 even.
Yeah.
So, and then you could use regular ARP 9/16s because that will hold a ton, and they're cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just off the shelf domestic stuff then.
I think, we've talked a lot about the good, but let's talk about some of the bad that we've already kind of discovered. We talked about the short stem. I think we got to talk about how narrow the valve stems are. That's going to be.
I think that's more of a me thing. I don't think Eric's really worried about that. The valves.
Oh, find out.
The valves on these have different geometry than the 4G engines. The 4G has a more robust stem by like a mil, but it's enough that when you look at how big the head on these intake valves are on these V6s compared to how little the stem is, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And then it keeps you out of using a bigger keeper and a big retainer and stuff like that. So that's
they're a 6mm.
I think these are 6, and 4Gs are either 6.5 or something like that. I can't remember what you can visibly see it though. Like it sounds like you're splitting hairs, but when you hold it up, you're like, oh wow, like that's not much stem.
But if if we end up finding that it's an issue, then we can just bump up in stem size, and there are retainers and keepers that we can. Oh, I'm way off. I was thinking degree. It was like a 6 degree.
Well, the degree is different too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The angle of the keeper and the retainer is different as well.
It's but
for you though, trying to rev to 10 grand or whatever, you're going to have the end of that valve is going to be doing this.
Well.
It's going to do that anyway, I know.
It may try to pull off.
Yeah, it might do that as well. Yeah.
9,000 is what it looks like with the gearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
9.
No, 9. As long as converter isn't doing too much slippage.
Let's talk about how small the connecting rods are.
They're tiny.
The factory rods are scary small.
They're very, very
They're 7-volt 4G63-ish.
I think so.
I think the first time that I tore an engine down, broke it down, because before I had seen the internals, I thought, why don't more 4G Eclipse guys turbo their car? Then I had broke the engine down, and I was like, oh, this is why. I see now.
So if you want like a safe limit, 75 foot-pounds per hole, and then push it 100 per hole. So like on a 7-volt 4G, 400 foot-pounds, you set it up with the right cam and rev it, you make 600 horsepower. It's been done.
Yeah.
Like you could do similar and push it to 600 foot-pounds. I think a more not put a rod through the pan limit would be 500 would be a safer place to play.
It's much the same with transmissions, right? Like it's torque that breaks stuff, and it's specifically torque at low engine speed.
Yeah.
Torque at high engine speed, it's fine because shit's already moving. We're
Right.
good, right? So if you're going to hammer it down low, that's when it'll break. It's not going to break once it's already moving.
But you think, you're making, probably 550 torque, 500 horsepower or whatever, and it won the 1050 class at the shootout.
I think what helps with my car when you watch videos on my car is it leaves slow and I'm powering through the 60.
And it's kind of weird if you're used to 4G, it's like 2 oil pan gaskets.
Yeah, it's a lower right here and an upper right here.
So is that so you can jack up the car by the lower and then like replace it?
Actually, it's so that when you shoot a rod through the oil pan, hopefully it just hits that little one.
You can still source those, the little steel one off Rock Auto. They're cheap. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. But we
Did we
have
say
options.
the good stuff? So the good parts, a block that's beefy, a
Yep.
girdle.
4 main bolts.
Yeah,
Yep.
four
Big main
bolts.
journals.
Yeah.
Yep.
and
Big bore spacing. Lots of meat between the cylinder bores.
we're going to talk a lot about things that we're developing for this engine. Race bearings is one of them. We talked about it. We're in works.
Are we?
Yeah.
Good. With who? King or?
King, yeah.
Okay.
I want to say that's the name of it. The Exogen guys will tell you for sure.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about
See that.
that. Yeah.
Good.
ACL or what's the third?
So King already has bearings for these, so they already have the specs and blah blah blah. They just need to do a race bearing.
Yeah.
Because it's just the normal street bearing.
They've worked with them. I hope it's them. It's going to be stupid if it's not. On some 4B11 stuff. So we're going to use like similar materials and go that route.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we have R&R has aluminum rods.
R&R has aluminum rods. We can also get them through eBay here, and some beefier rods, because we should say that the stock connecting rods they're very small. Very
Yeah.
small.
Yeah. Should probably limit to like 500 wheel torque max on these.
Yeah.
At
And that's still
at
maybe
high RPM.
Yeah.
Big
So I mean,
plus.
you could get, if you could rev it, get a turbo that flows up there. I mean, you can still make some decent power with stock bottom end, but it is a risk.
I don't know if you can talk to R&R directly. You might have to go to O-Star.
Through O-Star, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics on that.
Yeah.
Um,
O-Star guys are good. They'll,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And you order it through O-Star, I think I had it here like 2 days. So
Yeah.
fantastic. They must have them on the shelf.
Might.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did some NA. They helped some NA guys.
The world's quickest NA 67.5 guy is a O-Star sponsored car.
And that's the A7?
8.7. Yeah.
8.7, not 8.2.
Yeah, 8.7.
Yeah, at 172.
Yeah. All motor.
172.
Nitro meth.
172.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're light cars, but still.
I do, people sometimes ask me, I think you've asked me before, like, what's a 5th gen Mirage weigh? I don't know, but I can't imagine it's a lot.
Yeah. Heads, they flow a lot.
Straight out
Stock
the box.
castings. Yeah.
We skip pistons. Wiseco, yeah.
Yeah, Wiseco has a 6G75 piston that you can get like standard bore, 0.5 millimeter over, and like 1 over. It's special order now, but they do have a part number.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's off catalog, but you can get them.
And then Ross has them through like 3SX, 3000 GT place. They sell Ross pistons, if I recall correctly, or maybe it's CP.
All stock compression though. I would imagine.
Well, no one's doing like 15 billion to 1.
Everybody, that's what everybody's
Yeah. NA guys.
Yeah.
10.5 to 1 is fine.
Yeah.
Anyone south of Georgia is doing 15 to 1.
Yeah.
And Puerto Rico, which I guess is south.
South. Still
It's the
south.
south and very east.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cams you can get from blanks out of Australia with RPW, but I have not had luck getting specifications on them. I don't know if we covered that, but the 050 duration and load separation angle, they either don't have the specs or didn't want to share them, so that was a struggle. But I have a set of stock cams for a non-Myvac at Delta, and they're going to review those. Delta has done a Myvac version before. They'll probably do them again, but they said it was a real pain in the ass.
he told me he didn't want to do MyVac no more, but he did a non-MyVac set for me as well.
Oh, Delta did?
Yeah, Delta did.
Oh,
yeah.
well, shit.
Yeah,
They didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Because I called them.
What? I don't want to throw no shade on Delta because I like Delta, but
Yeah.
they couldn't provide me a cam card when I called later, which cam card's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, they do not have record of doing your cam.
No, they do not.
They only have record of doing the MyVac.
It's been like
one.
2 years now.
No, they still had the records of the MyVac one, so
That's
something
funny.
happened with
I don't
yours.
know. Yeah.
Maybe they just saw
I was
60.
nice. Like I wasn't pestering or nothing.
That fell through the cracks.
Yeah, it fell through the
Yeah.
cracks.
Yeah.
Well, they're starting over again with
Yeah.
mine.
It's good.
The
The stock MyVac cam's really good though.
Yeah. I
Like,
think that'd be fine for most people.
I've gone 9.5 at 143.
And
Low to
there's
mid
still plenty
500s.
to go.
Yeah. So.
What were you revving it to? 7 or something?
Like 7,500 maybe.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look at the log.
Yeah.
I mean, with the autos, you only get to use 3-4 gears, so you got to kind of play that game. You know, I didn't want to spin it too fast and risk the rods, but you also got to spin it fast enough that you're not at 8,000 RPM by the end of the track in 3rd gear. So,
I want to point out too that the cams come out of the head, not lift out of the head.
Cam and head.
Yeah.
cam and head.
It's weird.
It's a strange thing to see.
Springs. Shaun has used comp springs before. You do need to shim them to get the right installed height. I will be testing some other springs that are off the shelf. Install height is perfect, drop in. So, but don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be good. There's 2 different options, like a 100-pound seat pressure and then a 120. So I'm just going to start with the 120 since I know I'll be revving and lots of boost. But that may cause other issues because currently I'm planning on using stock retainers.
I
So
think there's enough meat on the guides that you could poke the guides out,
Yeah.
and we could resolve that if that's even a problem.
Yeah.
Lighter valves is good, right? That's why like on the vets they do the sodium filled and stuff like that, right? And
Yeah.
of course other engines, but it's just a problem when they're flexing, the valves are mushrooming at the higher seat pressures and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then Eric wants to rev very high, stuff moves.
Yeah.
Which a less rigid valve is going to want to move more. So
And I don't know when this cut off, but we don't have any record of people revving high. We have
some anecdotal.
Yeah.
The ones that have dynoed seem to stop at like 7,500.
Yeah.
Is a common stop. But there's some anecdotal. I've seen some messages from grapevine that people, the NA guys have revved to 9,000.
And I mean, listening to those guys, run it out at the track, it doesn't sound like it's crazy high.
Yeah.
well, most of those guys are running a 6-speed transmission, if I think,
Yeah.
because most of them are manual. I
think
don't know.
I think they're running the 3G trans from just a regular 3G
Okay.
Eclipse.
So then a
Bolts right
5-speed.
up, yeah. And
So
they make they don't make, someone does some axles that have the cups for each matching car, so you just plug them right in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, application-wise, these will go into about any Mitsubishi that you want to. It's not a lot of work to make mounts and to fit them.
I've had people very surprised that such a big engine would fit in the front of my 1G, but dimensionally, it's not 4 cylinders in a row. It's 3 of them in a row in a staggered offset, whatever. I'll tell you.
I don't know the degree of the cylinders, but I mean it's pretty tight.
60.
60?
Yeah, it's
60. That is one challenge. It's a tall motor.
Oh yeah.
And then the intake manifolds, like to do aftermarket intakes. So far, no one's really redesigned the lower, and we're just adding different plenums on the top.
Yeah.
The stock one is a super long runner, and then there's, let's see, you have the Holly adapter.
Yeah.
And then I have a guy, Steven and David's doing just a D plenum welded to the stock lower.
And we should say that the MyVec upper is huge.
Oh yeah,
it's massive.
Yeah. I mean, if you're revving to like 7,000, I don't think I'd change the intake. I mean, it's
all I did was turn it around the other way.
Yeah. They're modular.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's cool about this engine, right? I mean, it came in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we've been kind of chatting about all the different. Some of the stuff is, overlaps with what we're doing, but we have, 3 different flavors of front-wheel drive turbo, essentially rear-wheel drive turbo, and then non-turbo front-wheel drive. So.
I see the Puerto Rican guys having so much fun. I want to do that as well, but I want to do it. I mean, we started manual, but I think an auto, after talking to you guys a lot, is the way to go. I know a lot of those guys are going to be upset, but when we talk about front-wheel drive, we talk about traction issues, and I think the auto is just going to help ring all that in and take a lot of the guesswork out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose some on the power loss, but I mean,
big motor.
If you 60 foot, I mean, and you don't miss a gear, and the auto is going to be able to handle the power.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it might have a lot of nitro in it, but it's still be fine.
On my auto, I'm running on $40 Rock Auto track motive axles.
Really?
And I don't have the equal length.
I have
you have the long. I have the long.
Yeah.
And I've not drawn a line down it to see how much it's twisted or anything. But that's the magic of the auto, the old slush box.
Yeah.
It's easy on drivetrain components, which is something you can't discount. So.
And I don't think you'll need it, but actually, you may want a pretty loose converter so you can launch at high RPM. But Circle D's making the DSM converters soon, which what you're doing would work.
I'll sell you one of my Precisions when I get my Circle D. I'll have 2 Precisions for sale.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
interesting.
It's going to be very exciting because none of those guys are auto.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just the guys in Australia are the only other guys I know of running auto with a 6G75 going fast. Obviously, there's.
So when do you think yours will be running? Because I know you. No kidding.
Yeah.
Because you had a lot of chassis work done.
Yep.
Yes.
What class?
Get in where you fit in.
Yeah.
I don't know where you fit in.
I don't know either.
I'll
I
be
haven't
there.
really given it a whole lot of thought.
I'll be there to run you.
Well, you could be in stock appearing. There's no turbo.
That's true. That's true. I want to do there's some things I still need to finish, which I know you guys are in the same boat, but I want to get the big fiberglass 3-piece front end first.
Okay,
so
that might not be in stock appearing.
Well, yeah.
You're going to be in quick 32.
Is there a fuel roll in stock appearing?
I don't think they check. Oh, E85, no methanol.
Yeah, but are they checking?
No.
Oh, well then let's go.
If you have an all motor Mirage, come to the shootout. Even if someone's gonna have to protest you running nitro meth. Even then, they have nothing there to test.
I think we'll be able to hear that.
You'll be able to smell it.
Yeah.
Why are my eyes burning?
And that's all speculation.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no specific gravity test.
That'll be awesome though. And then you'll be at the shootout. Are you doing 1050 again?
Probably.
950? You need rods.
No. I mean, I'll run 9.5, but a good buddy of mine wants to run 9.5.
Yeah.
So
they don't want to fight it out.
Divide it up.
we've had to fight too much.
I'd like to get a couple good passes in first, and then kind of see if I'm going to be index racing or what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be 10.5. Just I haven't progressed my car. The big problem with my car is safety. The car already exceeds the safety that's on it.
Yeah.
I need to do a 10-point or a 25x gauge. It's probably gonna be a 10-point, but
Well,
we'll see.
they're real cheap, I'll tell you that.
I mean, I'm gonna do it myself.
Oh, okay.
But you got to buy the die, then you got to buy the steel, and you got to buy twice as much steel because you're gonna fuck up the first half of the batch. Yeah.
And then somebody will talk you into chromoly or some other.
Oh no, I'm doing
stuff.
chromoly. Like,
Oh.
yeah. If I'm doing a 10-point chromoly,
Well,
dear God, at 10-point mild, we'll double the weight of my car.
I forget there's another kind of steel that they were talking about too.
Dokal.
Yeah,
Dokal, is that?
It's DOM, and then it's
I think it's, or it's
Is it-
Drokal. It's something like that.
Yeah,
Somebody will correct
yeah.
this in the comments.
Yeah.
But it's as light as chromoly, but you can MIG weld it. That would be so much faster because I'm redoing my gauge right now. So I bought a 3000 GT chassis that was 25.5-ish.
Yeah.
Um,
Like a dirt car front end.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I guess they were going for a 25.1 full tube chassis, but it was missing some things. And I also found out that none of it was welded on the bottom of the car. Like not a single,
Really?
like it only was on the top of all of them. So that's all welded now. But just for my setup, doing longitudinal, I'm moving some bars around and then adding bars and finishing everything. And then some of the other stuff I'm doing on the front suspension is just MIG welding. So chassis TIG welded, some other crap MIG welded, and oh my gosh, MIG welding is so much faster. It's just
and easier, and it takes less skill.
like if I was doing it from I have skill in neither, but it'll pass.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
But if you could have the weight of chromoly and just MIG it, you could go so fast. And then getting underneath, I mean, I know why they didn't weld underneath it. Is because the floorboards were still in it. I cut them out so that I could do everything, and then I'm welding it back in.
Did they have them gusseted? Because there's allowances for that. You just have to gusset it.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then they fucked up.
Yeah, it's fixed now. But yeah.
But you basically took a roll cage and put it into a car, right?
Yeah, I bought a second car. Originally, I was going to do the full tube chassis, and then I started looking, and I would have to go 5s in the quarter to race any import racing because a full tube chassis puts you into
Oh yeah.
full tube chassis,
Yeah.
like pro mod chassis.
Serious stuff, yeah.
And this is stock wheelbase car, and so I needed to keep the front strut towers at a minimum and firewall. So I bought a stock chassis, and originally it was just to swap fenders on and bumpers and whatever, and ended up I'm using the whole thing, and it's stock chassis. It has stock firewall, frame rails front to rear, stock strut towers. The only thing that's cut is in front of the strut towers forward, which is allowed in all rules.
Yeah.
And then it'll have a 4-link, but it's going to bolt in. So bolt and unbolt 4-link, which is legal for the rules too. And then the chassis will be 25.5. I'm going to try to get 25.1, but that's technically for full tube chassis with this time. The 25.5 is good to 750, 25.1 is good to 6.0, but we'll see.
Yeah. Like,
Communication is poor.
Yeah.
Like I tried to buy stuff,
yeah.
and I
Same-
can't.
Puerto Ricans too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Same story there. I've tried to buy some stuff from the TR
Well,
guys.
those
and
guys I understand because they're competitively racing.
Yep, I get it.
And I feel like just recently they started really coming along, whereas Australians, probably got a 5-year jump on us.
Yeah, because you're
My adapter.
the adapter
Yeah.
that started with the guys out of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So they're selling some things, but giving all the secrets I understand because they're competitively NA racing.
Yeah.
It was similar to what you had with RPW though. Guy had a set of valve springs and they weren't the comps, and I just wanted to know what the installed height and seat pressure were, and he wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
But he wanted to sell them to me. But I want to know this before I send you my money.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah. You need to know for your spec.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but we should we'll develop our own stuff, I guess, and then we're still using whatever's available. Like, so I just recently purchased cam gears and the crank sensor from Steve Dela Cruz. You can find him on Facebook. Really nice looking stuff. So, and his solid tensioner. So.
The timing belt tension on these is pretty wimpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I ordinarily just run stock OEM stuff, but you can't you can't get the OEM stuff anymore, and the aftermarket tensioners are garbage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and then custom intake. Then ECUs, it's like anything. They're not plug and play really, but it's not that hard to wire the basics of these anymore. So
I think you did like an LS harness, right? And then just lopped off 2 cylinders for it.
Well, I didn't even lop them off.
they're still there.
They're
baby.
still there.
Yeah.
They're just tucked up underneath the plenum.
I'm gonna find a way to cast 2 more cylinders.
Mitsubishi makes a
Mitsubishi
V8.
had
They have a V8. They have 2 V8s.
Yeah.
In Japan.
I only know
They're
of one.
trash.
I hunted one
Well,
down while I
it's
was in Korea.
8G whatever.
Yeah.
But one's like a
You can't find them.
yeah.
If
Well,
they were-
they're in the executive limo style
Yeah.
cars. Yeah, and they don't make shit for power. They're meant to be smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they were readily available, that's
It'd be
what I would
neat.
have.
Yeah,
If
I
we
had
were,
the same
if we were
thought.
friends when I was in Korea last time, I could have sent you one.
Yeah, but
Yeah, board weaver.
I there is almost zero chance I don't torch multiple sets of heads.
Oh, 1,000%.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't just have one long block. I
And-
need a couple. And there's a good chance you do too.
Oh yeah, the
Mr.
guy.
15-to-1 compression.
Yeah, we're gonna go through some heads for sure. I have 3 whole engines. I think an extra set of heads.
I now have 4.
All
engines.
non-Myvec though.
One Maybach. I have one Maybach, and then my buddy Donnie has one non-Maybach long block. I have a long block, and then the trans adapter guy has a long block.
So yeah, you got a lot of blocks.
I've got 2, but mine runs as in a car and goes 9.
Yeah.
So
For sure. You got us there.
Yeah, we're just living vicariously through you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so many questions that I've had to tell them I don't know. I'm sorry.
Once you do the R&D, then we'll come in and take
Well,
care
he
of
did all of it. Like he did all of the measurements that he needed to know to get the valve springs right, and fucked it up. I used his information to find the right valve springs.
Yes.
But he did it wrong somehow after doing all of the hard work.
And
I'll get
somewhere I have a set of those RPW cams that we could probably get the
What?
data from. Oh, I told you.
Where are they?
In one of my cylinder heads.
Like a full, like a.
Either in the car or in Cincinnati. I don't know which.
Well, just put. You're gonna run them, right?
Well, maybe.
Characterize
find
our
them.
Characterize our
Yeah. So we'll have.
Maybe we can get our own data.
It depends what grind they were though, because they had like 4 different turbo grinds and 3 different NA grinds, I think.
But I think it was because I bought them from a guy on one of the pages, I think a 4G page or something,
Nice.
and I was told that they were RPW cams, but like I was telling you, I did look them over a lot, but I didn't see anything on there that was stamped or engraved RPW.
You'll have to get the lift or something and correlate that to their spreadsheet that you can download.
So what races are we going to go to all together? So shootout eventually, like you guys will be way ahead of me.
The shootout is
So we're not.
is the short-term goal for me, but competing at the all-motor class of World Cup is my end goal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say long-term goal because I think I'll be there soon.
Nice.
I mean, if I
So
had
World
unlimited
Cup.
budget, I would be. a lot
Yeah, you
better.
can make it this year then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's running by the shootout, you can make World Cup this year. That's on my bucket list, is to run World Cup. I don't know what class yet since they changed some of them. But, I mean, I could technically probably run Wild Street. I just don't know if I doubt it'll go quick enough. 67.4 rods and 5 rods are the same length, but the 4 rods are stronger.
Stronger.
If you use stock ones.
Because of the...
They're just beefier. The whole whatever.
They're the same length.
Yeah.
The journals are all the same. Like, it's functionally the same rod. There's more rod.
Yeah.
Just more of it.
My problem with the 3.7 right now is the pistons. We're working on that. Just get a taller, between 14 to 1 to 16 to 1 compression is what we're going for.
Are you using stock rods?
No.
Okay. Then it doesn't matter. You can use. Yeah.
Right now, I'm running a stock bottom end this year just to get out there and
get rolling.
Yeah, I think we already talked about that.
Yeah.
But
there's PR guys running bottom nines.
Oh yeah.
Like stock rods.
Yeah.
I've watched their videos of them pulling the oil pan to inspect.
Yeah.
And it is a bone stock engine.
Yeah.
And these guys are running bottom nines.
I'm tired of working on it. I'm tired of spending money on it. I want to get out there and have some fun on it.
Yeah.
It's the blue one, LTO.
Oh yeah.
The uncle is what LTO means.
Nico?
Yeah, Nico.
Nico, yeah. I need to do a podcast with him.
Wasn't he supposed to go to shootout? I was excited.
Yeah, but he didn't because he was afraid because he runs nitro meth. That's what I was trying to connect him with Eric.
Yeah.
Because we had a way around that.
No, we don't.
We'll cut that out.
Cut!
They don't test.
They don't test. But also, what was we talking about?
I was told to put nitrous on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the class allowed nitrous, whatever. I don't remember what class it was. But he could have just ran methanol and nitrous.
Did a quicker street. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think street, right? Because you're gonna have a lot of interior parts, right?
Yeah. But
I had a thought to take the turbo off my car and just spray the shit out of it.
if you like breaking stuff, that's a good way to go.
See what those ARP head studs are capable of.
Yeah, those rods are gone.
I would have a progressive ramp into it. Like, I'm not just going to hammer the poor thing.
I would.
I mean, they're junkyard engines, but come on now.
You already have the turbo.
We should say that you can pick probably a long block up at this point for $400 if you're willing to do the work.
I paid like $200 for mine.
Really?
Yeah, I have a short block that was a core, but the crank is good and the block's good for like $100, and then a couple of the long blocks were like $300. The most recent one I got that was for Florida, for the supplier in Florida, was more, but I didn't have to ship it. It was right there. So.
I recently got an engine and trans, but trans is 5-speed. If you're looking for a Gallant Rally R trans, hit me up. I got you.
The 3 people that are going to dedicate it this long. That is just us 3 watching it.
I think there's going to be a point where this engine becomes more popular, especially after one of us has a lot of success. I know you're
he already is. I mean, the thing
but
for
it's 10.5 index. Nobody cares. If I'd have went and won fast or quick or you know what I mean, like. But
I mean, for street, like, I mean, I think they're good. They're good motors. The 3000 GT guys have embraced them a long time ago.
So there's running examples of these in 3000 GTs.
Let me think. So there is an example which we may have talked about already, but. Example of these heads on a 3.5 block, where the block fits into a 3000 better with the oiling, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I made like 1300 on the dyno. He didn't race it though, so a lot of just cruising around, but dynoed it several times. Made like 650 on pump gas, and which most guys don't try to make that much on pump. And then there is, I know someone swapped the full thing in. But I don't know if it's I don't know. I know it's been done.
I was gonna say we see them a lot in the 3G community. I mean, it seems like this is the go-to now. If you had a V6, I think they're even using some kind of adapter to run Evo trans and making them all-wheel drive.
See, I'm tempted You take the full thing out of an Endeavor drivetrain, including that all-wheel drive auto, and just stick it into a 3000 without flipping the motor the other way for the 3000. Keep it the way it came.
Yeah. But you have to use, I think you have to use a 4G Eclipse shifter. I don't know if that one has the,
It just has to go in gear. Just has to make park, reverse, neutral drive.
There's a certain
and then
little...
everything else shift box, force shift box.
Yeah. Or whatever. Yeah. Light switches. You can do it with light switches.
I drove the MR2 for a long time flipping switches.
That's right, you did have that.
I did, yeah. I accidentally shifted to first before 2.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there were a couple 9,000 RPM things that one of them loosened up every bolt on the flywheel and flex plate. And
if that was us, we'd pull the back wheels off. We'd done a reverse wheelie.
Yeah, true.
Which I think you did a reverse wheelie at some point. Twice.
The one was really bad.
You know what fixes that?
Well,
all-wheel drive.
What 60 foot were you running?
With what?
With yours? With your green car.
My green car?
Yeah.
125 on street tires.
I'm going 148. You can have your 210s. It's fine.
That adds up. Exactly. That adds up.
That's a lot on the big
No,
end.
210s is a lot. No, it was my brake switch was not close enough to the arm, and at the big end, when I was just putting my foot on the brake, getting ready to hit the brake, I was disengaging it, which was putting it to the launch limiter at 140 mile an hour. So the car transferred all the weight forward, which wadded up the slick, and then it wanted to drive over the slick. So I felt the car pitch forward and then do a bunny hop, and I thought I was going into the wall. Yeah, sketchy.
Hope you changed pants after that.
I went over to Kevin Jewer trying to ask him about a table to prevent that in the Holly.
Yeah.
And everybody in his pit just quit talking because I think they could all tell just how fucking animated and scared I was. Yeah, it was bad. Because it had done something similar on the previous run, but not to that degree. And I thought I had figured out what the problem was and made corrections, and then it did it again even worse.
Well, speaking of 3000 GTs, what about, can I just take the 67.2 twin turbo manifolds and hook them onto the 67.5 and just run it twin turbo?
No. Different head exhaust. The exhaust ports are different. These are different spacing and rounds. And 3000s are oval.
So if you run twin turbo, you're either making something custom or I think RVW has a set, right? That are cast?
Maybe, I don't know. But some of the so the 6074 single overhead cam and 75 single overhead cam, they all interchangeable, and there's some that are look perfect. You could swap them either side if you want your turbo here or here.
Yeah.
You could do twins, I think, pretty easily with just using stock manifolds and throw a V-band on there and a couple of Zona turbos.
There you go.
Or make a crossover and do a single. I mean, I don't think it has to be that complicated, really,
I just know how it seems like a lot of 3000 GT guys are DR purists, and they're going to want the bolt-ons and turbos.
Yeah, but if someone's swapping this stuff in, they've already done a lot of fabrication to the car to make it fit. And there's various small shops, just guys doing kits and stuff too. So I think it could probably be done, but I think probably DIY is the best to get everything to fit where you want. Or even NA.
Now, one of the big debates is it worth keeping the MyVec or not?
No. Not for a race car.
Mine's deleted. The factory MyVec switch point's 4,000, 4,100, 4,200. It's below 4,000. I launched the car at 4,000.
Yeah.
And what I don't want in the 60-foot is cam profile changing and then blowing my tire off.
Yeah.
That I've already got dialed in for pressure and on and on. Like, no MyVec for me.
I think it adds a variable of unpredictability.
For drag racing.
For a street car, yeah.
fun.
Like, because you get the
Better fuel
low
economy.
cam on this actually, like, it has 2 different lifts on the intake, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It opens one intake valve all the way and the other hardly at all.
Half, yeah.
Yeah.
So you
No,
get-
not even half.
Not-
Hardly at all.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
So you get the extra swirl effect. And,
Yep.
so I think for a street car, yeah, like it'd be awesome. And then you wouldn't even need. I mean, what would you think? Stock cam up to like 900 horsepower or something?
I mean, at least 550, but probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of lift and a ton of duration on the stock MyVec cam, so.
Just need springs and
Turbo.
and a turbo.
boost,
That,
like,
and
yeah.
it's going to probably
Right.
be a good match for a 5 to 800 horsepower turbo or something.
Right.
So, but then race car is just one more thing to break and
Yeah.
complexity.
There's 2 different MyVec setups too. This engine has the MyVec setup where it's over here by the cam gear. That both the engines I have, or both the headsets I have, the MyVec setup's on the other side.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
I think I have some heads like that.
yeah. There's the setup I had was easy to delete the MyVec. This setup doesn't look quite as easy, although this solenoid looks much the same. So if it's a question, leave it there, let it work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted.
Well, none of us have, like, you haven't dynoed your car or anything, have you?
Just Wallace Racing
Yeah.
calculators.
Yeah.
Right. I know what my car weighs. We know what it ET in mile per hour is. So.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see the curve with the stock cam with your low, short runner intake. Be interesting.
Because there's a lot of, I guess, controversy over the runner intakes, right? Because some people are saying it may actually rob horsepower.
Down low. 100%.
For sure it does, right?
Yeah.
So, but the problem is the longer the runner is, the more friction you have. So at higher RPM, you just can't move the same volume of air. There's too much friction. So, am I running my car at super high RPM? No. But, typically we're 6,000 RPM and above
Yeah.
for the whole pass.
Yeah, the stock runners, I mean, if you look at like a stock dyno, I mean, they have torque like basically right off idle. And then it drops at 6,500 is peak horsepower, and it drops after 6,500, and that's even with MyVec, or flattens at least. So I mean the runner length is just tuned for torque, which is fine for what it was for. Now it would be nice to have something probably somewhere in between what stock is and what we're doing, which is just using the lower and like having a plenum bolted to it essentially. Because you're not on intake probably till, I haven't calculated it yet, but probably 7,000 RPM or something before you get any kind of flow for where you're wanting.
Right. And the Australian guys have taken the factory manifolds and added a bigger box.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of the PR guys doing the same, but nobody will tell me why or what or give me any kind of data or information.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would, I'm not going to do a back-to-back because that intake's not going to fit. I would if I could get the stock one to fit in my car. It's just, I guess I could take the hood off.
There's like a GTR one where it splits in half. One goes one way, one goes the
Yeah.
other.
See, that's why I looked
The
at
Honda
the
does that
GTRs.
too.
The GTR has fairly long runners, and they rev 9,000 RPM and keep making power. So, I mean, we may be hurting ourselves with going that short. I mean, it's similar to what I had on my 388 LS, which was designed for more RPM, and it was a turd below 6,500. I mean, absolute turd. And then 7,000 and above, it was happy.
Came alive.
Yeah, huge difference.
Let me check on this camera real quick.
Yeah, I think we're probably missing a lot. below 7,000.
Right, absolutely. I mean, and it's one of those things where you might want to have 3, 4, 5 setups and go to a dyno, and
yeah,
I mean that's really it.
I was basing all of mine off of just packaging, trying to get the damn thing under the hood, and now it's not even going to fit under the hood. So
Right.
it might be worth doing it back to back on mine if it's not too much trouble. Probably will be. It's a pain in the ass because you have to make new intake pipes and
Yeah. And I think
That's
you'll
wrong
be
with
the
those.
first that I've seen. Maybe you've seen one to run 2 injectors per cylinder. I don't think I've seen that yet.
I don't think so.
Oh,
yeah.
the guys running nitro got to be doing something because nitro requires a fucking mess of fuel.
Yeah, but they're not making 1,400. They're making.
You got a point
600.
there,
One set of injectors with mechanical fuel pump would be fine
right?
for nitro.
Yeah, they're probably just running 5,000 cc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that, yeah.
And I've
Right.
seen, I know, I think you and I talked about it before, maybe it's someone else, but I feel like I've seen them before with the LS intake where they have some type of injectors on top.
Yeah, I saw that once. I think there's enough room to put a rail underneath and do another. Ideally, so I like to do drag and drive stuff,
Yeah.
and ideally I would love to have 2 separate fuel rails,
Mhm.
right? I mean, of course there's 2 rails.
Two
one on
separate
each
fuel
side.
systems.
2
Yeah.
separate fuel systems. One to drive around on pump gas with a 10-gallon cell in the back, and even driving up to the lanes on, and then maybe now with 10 gallons in the back. And then once boost comes on, then your second set comes on.
Mhm.
That would be ideal. But right now I'm just doing a shared fuel rail with 2 injectors, just in case I wanted to do methanol and have some drivability with using smaller injectors and having the second set kick on or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm probably going to start with E85. Interestingly, E85, according to the data, has a wider tuning window for timing versus methanol. But so I think with the boost pressures that I'll be running, E85 intercooled might be a good option, and it's easy then because then I can just cruise around on pump E85 and then get race E85
Yeah.
or whatever.
Right.
But might be enough room to do a shared rail and then
Right. Wire it off.
wire it off for another set down there. They'd be pointing away from the flow, so maybe you don't want those for your idle injectors. But yeah,
Just more pressure.
Yeah.
It'll atomize.
so for a methanol set or E85 full boost and RPM, it'd be fine. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone that far yet.
Yeah.
I think start with E85, 2 sets of Bosch 210s, and probably some IDs before. Some of the 3000s we tuned. We do ID 1700s on those, and they work so well. I mean, they start easy, they idle great, they tune so well.
Yeah.
So
One of the things that we didn't talk about before was there's a lot of aftermarket oil pump related things, oil pump gear, whatever. And to my knowledge, that doesn't really seem like a problem that we need to solve immediately.
So in 3000 GT land,
Mhm.
so the oil pump starts very, very, very similar to the 72. There were some breakage of the stock gears. The stock gears are cast, I believe, and so there was some breakage of the stock gears. Now, over many years, it may have just been a bad batch because it kind of went away.
Mhm.
But then also similar timing, then the billet gears came out from multiple places. Now for these, Boundary makes a oil pump gear, and it's reasonably priced.
Yeah.
And they are a big company actually. So I don't know, like giant company, but they're, they make. It's not just a one-off for. They make gears for a lot of other different motors and stuff.
I feel like you see those for sale a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm planning on the Boundary gears with their coating, just in case. I mean, I've also looked at, you can get a dry sump, like a 4-stage dry sump off eBay for NASCAR, like used NASCAR parts, and they're all rebuildable. And so you can get like Peterson dry sump setups for not a lot of money, and even get everything you need, except you have to make your own bracket, find a place to fit everything, and then fabricate your oil pan, and you need some sort of mandrel to drive it.
Yeah.
But the cost of it is not like if you went and bought something that's off the shelf for a GTR or something like that. But we'll spend 20 hours fabricating. But my plan is to try a boundary pump just because I know I'm going straight to high boost.
Might be worth it for you.
Might be worth it.
Yeah.
But I was in the same boat. I was like, is it worth it though? Because I've seen issues with oil pump pressure or with pressure fluctuations and stuff. So
I'm on
you're on stock, right?
Well, I'm on an Engine Tech Rock Auto piece that
okay, yeah.
it had really soft fasteners holding the pump housing together, and I replaced those with hardened fasteners with Loctite. But with the 4Gs, it's real common for everybody to jump to 20W50,
right.
VR1 or something like that. Which, with the way the oil pumps on the 4Gs are, that's okay, that works. You can't do that with these, because that will 100% blow these fucking gerotor pumps to pieces.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
I
didn't even think of that.
Something that doesn't get talked about a lot is oil weight is dictated by bearing tolerance.
Right.
And that's it. Like you should abide by that.
Right.
Plus or minus like 1 oil weight. Like if your bearing tolerance says 5, cool, run 10, but don't go to 20W50 and think it's going to work. It's probably not going to work.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll have 20W50 oil.
But that's if you're going to do right. Yeah. If you're going to do billet, that's fine. But
yeah, but these engines aren't expensive. But then when you start adding this pump here and that, and then all of a sudden things start adding up.
Well,
so
I think being a 4-cylinder guy forever, what is crazy to me is I can buy 4 injectors for the price I'm used to. But when you buy 6, it's
it starts adding up.
Same for pistons.
That's why I like Bosch
Same for rods.
210s.
Yeah. Yep.
Our friend Kevin Jewer, which he won't watch this long, he's already tired of us not knowing what we're talking about. He hates Bosch 210s. So.
He's got a list of shit.
Yeah, he hates them. Well, there's reason for it. There's a reason why they're inexpensive.
Yeah.
But if you take care of them...
I use Holley injectors. You want to talk about like the... but they come in packs of 8, and I only need 6. So I find the 2 that are no good.
I buy Bosch's in packs of 8 too.
Just gotta test them out.
Yeah.
They're bad.
I do have like 25 or Bosch 2 at one time. Now there's 4 in the MR2, there's 4 in my son. There's 12 with the guy making my intake right now, and I still have a couple spares.
Yeah.
They don't like to sit in methanol. I did learn that the hard way.
Or ethanol.
Yeah.
Ethanol, they're fine.
Really?
Yeah, if you take them out, if you take your motor apart, then spray them out even with ethanol. But my car can sit for a month with ethanol and it's totally fine.
Wow.
So, yeah, but if you're taking anything apart and it sits longer than that, then either run some pump gas through them or spray them out with some WD.
WD-40?
Yeah, I have.
First time I've heard that.
It's take a 9-volt battery. I actually have like.
Oh yeah, you click them.
Click them and spray them out.
I've got a rig for clicking them.
What do you spray in?
The brake clean.
Oh no.
Oh okay.
That could still seize up. There's no lubrication.
I'm not worried about lubricating. I'm trying to clean them.
Oh well, cleaning them, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying if they're gonna sit for a while and you bag them.
Gotcha.
WD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. And the mosquitoes have gotten to my brain.
And the spiders. This orb.
I'm okay with the spider.
Making a fantastic web.
He can eat some mosquitoes.
Yeah. He's been down here multiple times.
He's my friend.
You said something interesting about playing with 4-cylinders, and that's true for me. I know you've been a 3000 guy, so you're probably more from the other angle, but
no, I put 4Gs in everything.
Well, there you go. We've had it so good with the 4G because the support's there, the engines are great, on and on and on, that even when we got another perfectly acceptable engine in the DSMs, which was the 420A, which is a great engine, There's nothing inherently wrong with the 420A. It's just there was already the 4G. We're not going to switch over, right?
Yeah.
And look at the 4V11. Same with the 4V11, right? There's only so many 4Gs on the planet.
Yeah.
Like we keep beating them up. Every year we keep beating them up. Same for the transmissions. We blew up all the fucking manuals. Now we're working on the autos.
True.
And they're getting hard to find too. We're just going to keep eating them up.
What you guys do in the front-wheel drive auto, that's actually
there's a
good.
reason for that.
Because getting these in all-wheel drive auto
Very
is a
hard.
challenge. They used to be easy. I got my first all-wheel drive 6G auto from importer Japan, shipped. I bought it off eBay, shipped to my door for $300 with a converter, transfer
wild.
case,
That's
all
wild.
that stuff. Now you can't even find them.
More than 5 times.
I'm going to say you can't
Yeah.
find them because of Chris from Revenge
Yeah,
Performance.
Chris Benkin has them all.
They're fucking stacked up in his house.
The front wheel drive
But you're
autos
smart,
are easy
though.
to find, and it's all this. It's a 4A33.
Yeah, all
just
the
with
same stuff.
It's all you can use all the good Kigley parts. You can use.
Yep.
It's all the same
The
shit.
only thing if you're doing Liberty gears, you have to do a little trickery with that, right?
I don't know because I don't have them.
Yeah, I don't think.
So
you
I
need
know
them.
with the V6s they come in different final drive ratios, so you got to watch that.
Okay.
But I don't know anything.
So I
else.
think with the front wheel drive autos, Kigley does some special stuff to weld things to things. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. My trans builds have been mostly stock with like some slightly better clutch packs here and there and a ship kit.
Yeah.
I've not done any of the billet craziness, Liberty gears, none of that.
I'm going to run a stock 4G auto until it blows up. And then
Keep good fluid in it, it won't.
I'm going to have Andrew, I'm talking about 4G Eclipse.
Oh, that'll blow up.
Eclipse trans.
Then I'm going to have Andrew do the valve body, and then we'll blow that up, and then we'll just see. We'll go from there.
You can get a 6G auto trans for nothing hardly.
Oh yeah.
Like
I have in my storage unit up the road. I think I have 3 manual 3G trans.
yeah. I mean,
Blow those up too.
Because they come in all kinds of.
Well, you need a twin disc in order to run these things. So I'm not going to pay for that.
I mean, any 2G version, so 94 plus,
Yeah.
a Mitsubishi V6 front wheel drive has the transit. We want it's the same stuff.
My 92 3000 GT has the 2G style transmission in it. So I don't think any of the 3SI cars came with the early style 4A33,
Really?
where it's got a stamped steel front diff cover. Because mine's a 92. When did they start? 91?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Might
I
be.
don't know. Unless it's a 1 year only thing, which is possible. Mitsubishi
Could have had
does that
a
stuff.
weird crossover thing
Right?
for some
Could
reason.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's to say that my transmission is the stock transmission of that chassis? I've not looked
Yeah.
I've not
So-
looked at the VIN tag.
So I think it still followed the same. 91, 92, 93 was the. Maybe not. Maybe they all had lockup converters in them.
I
Maybe
know
they
that all of the V6 cars had 27 splide inboard axles,
Oh,
which
okay.
which in the DSMs you don't get until the later.
Yeah.
So
So maybe it got the. There you go.
Why do they do such random things like that?
because the V6 cars make more power, big motor.
Power, baby.
Got to have more splines.
Power.
More splines.
But
more
it is
better.
pretty cool.
Oh,
Like
better.
what you guys are doing with front wheel drive. I mean, somebody could throw one of these in the back of an MR2
Yeah.
and have
There's,
big block.
there's currently a 5th gen Mirage guy doing all-wheel drive, converting over to all-wheel drive using that Evo trans that we're talking about. I don't know. It might have got cut off. But anyways, I think that'd be pretty cool too to see, in such a light car what it does, what it's capable of.
There was one of these in a 3G on the eastern seaboard running, and he decided to take the car apart and not really share it with anybody. One of the guys that I talked to.
Are you talking about Wilmot?
No.
Okay.
Wilmot will be a 4G. No, this was Tom Da Silva.
Oh yeah.
He's got a. He's
I
on
know
your
that
list.
name.
It's an army green.
Yeah.
1GB or 1GA.
1GA. I think.
1GA, and
With
it's got
the-
the shark mouth on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom's a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, real nice guy.
Well, I think we probably covered it all, and then we just need to do some more racing, get
Yeah.
some more data.
Do you have any
Oh yeah,
questions?
you had
hit up
asked
Eric.
what events, right? Events like IFOs. IFOs good for us around here.
MitsuTimes.
Streetcar takeovers good for us around
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Like to make World Cup.
that'd be awesome.
I want to do X front wheel drive or S front wheel drive.
Yeah.
I got to look at the S front wheel drive rules though. for my
I would like
car.
to see some 6G representation at World Cup because, outside of the small corner of the Mitsubishi community, no one knows about this. So it's going to be like Shaun's car when he first brought it to shootout. People are going to be like, "What the hell is this?"
There's a whole island of people who know, though.
That would
There's
be-
a whole island of people who know.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be interesting if you could do a V6 and as front-wheel drive.
Yeah, I got to look at the rules. For sure, X front wheel drive, but I'm nowhere near fast enough. I'm
Yeah,
saying
but it
my
would be
long-term
worth it.
goals.
Yeah, it'd be worth to
Long-term
look at
goals.
long-term.
Wouldn't it be? I think
That'd be cool.
they shot down a X front wheel drive. Maybe it was S front wheel drive class for the shootout. But I thought that would be so cool to have our front wheel drive guys battle their front wheel drive guys.
Well, their front-wheel drive guys are about 3 seconds ahead of
Right.
our front-wheel drive
I'm not saying
guys.
we're going to win.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it would be cool.
And my car's in a crappy place because if it's like a street front wheel drive, like I got a gutted interior, no
Yeah.
hood,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, but I
Yeah.
can put interior back in my car, and I would
Right.
to go play.
Yeah.
It would be neat to see if they could play on
I think
the big field. I think with an auto.
we'd really need somebody to drive Bucci's car to be competitive
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
there was some talk about it.
I think Mr. Andrew's still working on it. He's said stuff about making that car go sevens. So.
I don't know.
I don't know. What would Joe think about if we put a... I don't know if Joe would like that.
No, he would not like that. He wouldn't like that at all.
We'd keep
I mean,
the
as
auto.
long as we put cheese on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Put cheese on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the 4G is... I mean, this has the weight where you need it
Yeah.
for front-wheel drive racing.
That's part of the reason why we chose this over just putting another 4G in my chassis. My 2G was front-wheel drive, auto, 4-cylinder. So like I was already kind of doing that. I was bored.
Yeah.
And that was the theory crafting that we did. More torque with an auto, better
Yeah,
weight
so you think about it.
distribution, like
I mean, you've gone 9s already, right?
Yeah.
9.5,
Yeah.
9.5.
143.
See, could you do like the Honda
That's a
guys
stock
do?
motor.
Where you,
Stock motor.
even the 5th gen Mirage guys, when they move everything in front of the engine, they can just pick up the back. They
Yeah,
can-
you can pick up the back of my car.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't weigh much. You know,
You
there's
went-
nothing back there.
Now, I know they had the weight plates and that getting it low and forward probably is good, but you have the advantage of not stressing the motor as much.
I've got almost 900 pounds on each of my front wheels, so we didn't think I needed a weight plate.
No, that's a
Um,
lot.
Even my fuel tank is in front of the engine.
Mine's not, but just because I don't like the idea of if I'm going to go into the wall, my fuel tank's the first thing
Oh,
that's
for
going to
sure.
hit. Like that drives me nuts
You're
about pro
supposed to have
mods.
a bar.
Does nothing.
I know.
Does nothing.
Even on nitro meth, it's just gonna be.
Does nothing. Yeah.
That's one thing I like about my plan with the E85. You can see the flames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
You might be able to see it with nitro, but M1 you can't.
Yeah. You just feel the heat. Once
Yeah.
it burns your lungs, I mean, that's.
Yeah, I saw too many like Instagram scrolling of like guys running
Oh, yeah.
around doing this, and there's nothing, and their crew's like, "What's your problem?"
Spray them off.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
What did we not cover?
I don't know.
Well, it's been a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Appreciate you having us.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
I mean, you might get 4 or 5 views, but at least we got to hang out.
Maybe 7.
The editing is going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Between
I can't wait to edit this.
me and Eric chasing each other around in a conversation.
The camera dying.
Camera dying.
Yeah.
Rain, 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Our 2-hour break before coming back to videoing at least calmed you and I down a little bit.
But we missed so much good information.
We did. We're like, whatever.
This is part 1. I forgot to say that again. This is part 1. We'll
come
do this
back.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. Once we get some more results, I mean, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm jealous. I'm probably a year behind you guys, so.
Maybe next time we could flip this upside down, pull all the internals out, show people.
I think we should go over a car. I mean, I'll trailer
Yeah.
my car down and go over
I was
your
gonna
car
say-
or something, right? Like,
Here real soon, be able to see one in essentially a pro mod.
Yeah.
25.5 cage, tube front. It's the coolest thing I've ever done, tubing the front end. I just like it. It's so cool.
So your green bean wasn't tubed in the front?
No, it was all
Wow.
Yeah.
Because there was so much room, you just decided I didn't need it?
I didn't know what I was doing.
But will your new car have factory fog lights?
Undetermined at this point. They are currently off the car, and there are no places to mount them. But if I had, like, the X Street is 30,000 pounds, so if the car is like 2,800 pounds and I have to add 200 pounds, then I may as well add 7 pounds of fog lights with that 200 pounds.
Now,
so.
if you don't run fog lights, are you going to apologize to everyone?
No.
No.
It's not a thing. It doesn't even count for the yeah. No, I'll let's see. No, I pretty much had fog lights on green beam the whole time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took them off like once and I put them back on. I'm like, that was
before
stupid.
anybody saw.
Yeah, that was dumb.
That would be weight out front and down low.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, I don't need that.
I might do that.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But I've actually played around. Angry Arrow makes the covers, and they made them for Garrett's car, the 3000 GT. But he had cut out the bumper because he didn't read Corky Bell's book on intercooling and openings. Giving Garrett a shot. He's not watching this.
No way he stuck around this long.
Yeah. So I keep the stock opening, which is almost perfect for what they say. You need about a third of the opening come in, and then it has a place to high pressure and then make its way through. So, long story short, I've like the Angry Arrow stuff is not going to work because I didn't cut that out, and I'd have to modify his stuff anyway. And it's black, and I wasn't sure. My car's white, so I found some like white plastic that I trimmed and just kind of stuck it up there. So I found some stuff that I had just laying around in my garage for free, and I trimmed it, and it covers the stock fog light area, and it doesn't look bad because I have the 2G headlights with a 1G bumper, and so it starts to look a little weird with the stock fog lights. It's not a real 3000 GT anymore.
Yeah. Should it be on the 3000 GT MitsuTimes list?
It's all-wheel drive. Or rear-wheel drive.
What's wrong with front-wheel drive?
Or front-wheel drive.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
There's going to be some hurt feelings, I feel like, once these pro mods make their way onto the list.
It's not, though. It's full body, full frame
It has
rail with a
factory
bunch of
front
tubes.
suspension, yeah.
It's not a pro mod. Like
It's more factory than a lot of the cars.
Albert's car is pro mod stat. This is nowhere near that.
Albert doesn't even like his being called pro mod. Pro stock.
There you go, right? Yeah. So, but
yeah, pro stock. No, it's when they allowed the 6G74 blocks on the 3000 before you had your site, when they allowed that on, it was like it started. That's when they allowed the 4G on, because it's like, how can you? That was the controversy. Was like when my car made the top 10 and then top 5. It's now I think 8 or 9, but with a 4G63 was a ton of controversy. But Dynamic Racing, Matt Monet at the time, held that list, and he's like, look, the number one is a 6G74. That didn't come in, and you couldn't buy one in it, you know. And so I always razz and say, hey, if an SUV motor's allowed on there, at least another DSM sports car or Mitsubishi sports car should be on.
That's pure gatekeeping.
Was Nelson's auto?
And so the transmission wasn't factory to him.
That's
either.
what I was going to say too.
So his entire drivetrain wasn't factory for it. Now I think it should have been on there. I mean, when you look at the car, it's a 3000 GT, and he's pushing that platform. Yeah. And he had some of the mods been around that are now for those cars, that for those transmissions and transfer cases. Yeah. This car would have went real fast.
It's really incredible what he did without the technology.
Yeah, because I don't think he had Liberty gears. He definitely didn't have the transfer case stuff that we have now, like Magnus doing the gear sets is awesome. So yeah, that would have gone real fast. And frankly, I mean, you guys heard it from me. I mean, I thought about doing that because so much is available. I just do not like electronically shifted race cars. So I just have way too many problems with a perfectly running driving car decide not to shift.
Yeah.
And so I want Power Glide or Turbo 400. So it's never a problem.
Yeah.
So, and there's no secret sauce in it. I can, if I break it, I take it out, take it to a guy or 1,000 different guys in the U.S. and then they put the same thing that everybody else is running in it.
Speaking of, there's a transmission shop up the road across from that Thornton's.
Yeah.
You guys pass coming here? I called him to do the transmission on that Endeavor, and he's like, I only do 4L60, 6L80, whatever.
It's like, it's just a transmission.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, no, like, there's nothing much different probably.
This lot's probably full too. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, I only work on 3 transmissions, and my lot's full.
Yep.
Woo!
Not worth it. So that's where, Power Glide for me. I mean, you give up some, obviously, with only 2 years, but converters are amazing. I love them.
Well, what I think is going to be cool about your car is you're going to be doing drag and drive stuff, whereas Shaun and I are definitely are not playing.
I was going to talk about that when we were talking about the front wheel drive stuff. Is it kind of, you can't really go do no prep.
Yeah.
Why can't you do drag and drive?
You can do drag and drive. That's fine. I'm just saying that, like, it really kind of, front wheel drive really kind of limits what you can and can't do. You can't do street stuff, can't do no prep. Like,
so
you've got to have a prep surface.
I can do no prep. I'll probably will some. I want to do IFO, probably, some of them. World Cup once. I don't know if I want to do it more than once because it's a long week.
It's exhausting.
I didn't do sick week this year. I did the first 2. First one with Green Bean, which we enjoyed. Then the second one we did with the MR2, did not enjoy 12.0 class. It just, you're around fast cars and you want to go fast, and it doesn't excite me to try to hit 12.00.
Yeah.
So that wasn't as fun. So we skipped this year just entirely. And then the goal is next year with Thor, I think is what it's going to be called.
Oh, cool.
My favorite tool is a 5-pound sledgehammer that I have.
Head engineer.
Yeah. So, like, it's my favorite. And so I was going to call it hammer, and then it looked good on paper, and then when I said it to my wife one time, it just didn't sound right.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
I think he's going to call it white bean, so that's cool.
yeah. Someone said lima bean. That was good. And then there was like white hammer. I'm like, man, I live in Southern Indiana. That sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of comments on my YouTube video on different ones, but then I was like, Thor. Yeah. I mean, and it has the hammer theme with it. Sounds.
I'm gonna call it Chris.
You can call it Chris.
I'm gonna call it Chris.
Why Chris?
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But the plan is to also do those no prep things, right?
Yeah, I like no prep because it's it's one and done in one day. I mean, the shitty part is that you could spend all your time and money and you get knocked out first round, which we've done that way too many times. But I think I don't know if it'll be super competitive though, because the cars are just so fast now.
Right.
Like front side no prep, you need a big block twin turbo. I mean, like if you don't have 2,000 horsepower, you're outgunned.
Yeah.
And then back a track, 2,000 horsepower doesn't hurt. You may not be able to use it, but it doesn't hurt. So I
just think it's cool that you're going to be out there representing the imports, and when we went to Litchfield, I don't know, does that track have a name?
Decker Boys.
Decker Boys Raceway.
Yeah.
I mean, the MR2 was, I think, the only Japanese car there.
Yeah.
When I had bodies.
When I had Green Bean down there, the first year, I was the only import.
No.
Oh, there was a Datsun, but I think. Yeah,
right. An LS.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah, that one got messed up.
It was probably mostly Fox body.
And then there were a lot of Fox bodies. And stuff.
No, I meant the Datsun was probably mostly Fox body.
Yeah. And then maybe not the second one, but one of them I went to, there was a Honda.
Okay.
All-wheel drive Honda. And I had to race him. He was having a blast, like legit having a blast.
Yeah.
he lost though.
Yeah.
It wasn't ready for. It was a stick car. It's like it's not his fault. It's just so hard to like be consistent with heads up racing against an auto car.
Yeah.
With a trans brake, it's not fair.
Yeah.
That's why there's stick shift racing, because it's But yeah, I do a little bit of everything, which is sometimes the problem with my cars, is because they're not singular focused, and then I do okay at a bunch of different things, but not great at one thing.
Well,
That's my personality too. I do okay at a bunch of things, just not great at anything.
but I mean, you're getting out there and you're racing more than 99% of the Mitsubishi community.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because a lot of them are just shootout one-hit wonders.
Yeah, I mean, even Shaun and I were at the Mitsubishi meet last week. What kind of event you going to shoot out?
Yeah.
Damn, it's still 3 months away.
And there's places like, DSMs could be racing no prep, but they could be at more IFOs. And I see some at IFO.
Yeah. Brian Vamos from your area, he does a lot of no prep stuff. Very successful.
Vamos is single-handedly the reason why all-wheel drive cars have to play in the big tire class. that's not an exaggeration.
That and the guys around here too, Louisville area.
Yeah, Brad,
and then Aaron Gregory back in the day too.
Jesse and Nick.
Yeah.
There is some weekend. My apologies to anyone who actually knows, but apparently there was some weekend where Brian went and just fucked up everybody on the street with everybody there was some big stuff going on. Again, I don't really know, I'm talking out my ass here. Yeah. Brian fucked everybody, and from then on it was like, all-wheel drive, big tire.
Yeah. It's not even allowed in big tire in some places, because back at track, small tire is actually usually faster than big tire. They're not set up for it yet. At some point they'll get there, and so but yeah, I mean, it's fun. I show up where like I can, and sometimes I know I'm gonna be outgunned, and then other times like, we'll travel far if I think I have a legit like shot, but then it's really sucks to go. We went down to Alabama one winter, drove through a legit snowstorm, car just caked in ice, open trailer life, couldn't see. My wife was like not liking it, driving through, it was bad. And we get down there, and I couldn't see Limpy's light. The sun was pointed at him.
Oh yeah.
And he did a light check, but when he did the light check, he walked up to the car, and then he walked away from his standing spot of 5 feet, hit his light, and you give him a thumbs up if you can see it, and I could. And then he gets back to his spot, and I'm sitting there on the two-step for a while, just sitting there on the trans brake, and then all of a sudden I see the other car leave, and I was like, oh, he either jumped or the light's on, so I took off, and I almost caught him, and I was a half a second delay, and I would have went rounds. The guys were going really fast down there, but yeah, that was painful to drive that far and lose first round because I couldn't see.
To something silly.
Yeah.
The bottom line is there's going to be a 67.5 racing somewhere near you.
True.
In the very near future.
3 of them.
Yeah. Well,
we may be at your event.
Ones in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, 3 of them in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And traveling, because we'll travel the World Cup. We'll travel to probably some more IFOs, hopefully.
I would like to do the IFOs.
Yeah. I'd like to do that South Georgia all motor import versus domestic thing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll do a part 2 and share what we've learned.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, thanks again, guys, and I hope you guys learned something.
Probably not.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you were entertained.
Do we not entertain you? Are you not entertained?